Good morning. I'm Douglas Steiner of Steiner Studios, and I'd like to welcome you all to our studio and to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Lieutenant Governor Duffy, it's an honor to have you and the members of the Regional Economic Development Council Progress Tour here today. As a member of the Regional Council, it continues to be extremely gratifying to see the results of our work, both here at the Brooklyn Navy Yard and throughout the state of New York. It is now my pleasure to introduce Matthew Goldstein, Chancellor of the City University of New York and Chairman of the New York City Regional Economic Development Council.
Good morning. Welcome to Brooklyn. We're really pleased to be here. Lieutenant Governor Duffy, it's wonderful to see you, my partner, who's been at my side the entire time that we've been in business. On behalf of the entire New York City Regional Economic Development Council, I'm delighted to welcome you today. We're joined by Senator Marty Golden. It's very great to see you. Deputy Mayor Bob Steele, if he's not arrived yet, will be arriving soon. And other officials, certainly our ESD President and CEO, Ken Adams, thank you for all of the work that you're doing, and our assessment team, including our Secretary of State, Cesar Perales, Commissioner Darrell Urbatine, Commissioner Thomas Maddox, and Commissioner Rowan DeCito, and members of the New York City Regional Council, and all of today's guests to the Brooklyn Navy Yard, a modern and thriving industrial park. Let me offer our appreciation to Andrew Kimball, Doug Steiner, and so many here at the Navy Yard for hosting us today. The New York City Regional Council is delighted to have the opportunity to talk to you about our vision for economic development across the city's 5 boroughs and the projects it is supporting to accelerate that development. We have had a busy and productive year, monitoring the progress of our 2011 projects and selecting new priority projects for 2012. Of course, we would like to take you all on a tour of all of these projects we support. That is not possible, but to give you a fuller sense of the scope and detail of those efforts, we have taken the liberty of developing a short video produced by our outstanding crew at the City University of New York's TV station. My thanks to them for helping us bring the 5 boroughs to you. So without further ado, let's have the cameras roll, and I will be back to you after we visit this wonderful video. Thank you. The video you're about to see, which was prepared with the extraordinary help of CUNY TV, showcases a number of New York City Regional Economic Development Council supported sites across the city. As our city, state, and region move forward in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, these priority projects have become even more important. They'll strengthen our ability to fully recover from the storm and accelerate the economic development and job creation critical to our long-term growth. The Council deeply appreciates the support of the state in sustaining the city's role as a global leader. Today, more than ever, New York is open for business.
New York City is a fertile place that grows businesses by the bushelful. Through the public-private partnership investment model, New York City Regional Economic Development Council is proving that if you can make it here, you can sell it anywhere. In August of 2011, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced the creation of economic development councils in 10 regions across the state as part of the Open for Business initiative.
Make it a pro-business, business-friendly state. Change the sign, put up the sign, New York open for business.
The goal is to spur job creation and growth and accelerate economic development throughout the state, driven from a grassroots level. After just 1 year in the program, New York City businesses are growing.
If you build out new quality space for manufacturers, particularly small, creative class-driven manufacturers, often heavily related to the design industries, that employ a lot of people and pay very good wages, that if you build this space, the businesses will come.
The Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation is creating a green manufacturing center, a complete renovation and reuse of connected industrial buildings that formerly housed machine shops for the Navy's shipbuilding operations.
It's just a part of history. You know, just knowing what the building was once used for, and it's going under renovation for today's technology in this world. I'm very excited to be a part of it.
What's really unique about this project is we have two fantastic anchor tenants, Cry Precision that designs and manufactures Kevlar vests and body armor for the Special Forces, and New Lab, which is a very unique collaborative workspace between universities and designers, generating the next wave of modern manufacturing in New York City.
Located in the heart of an already thriving industrial campus and targeting design and manufacturing tenants, this project will transform a vacant and deteriorating historic building into an active center for good-paying green jobs.
This kind of project does not happen without extraordinary leadership, both at the local level and statewide. And without Mayor Bloomberg and the City Council, the Borough President, this wouldn't have happened at the local level, and it also wouldn't have happened without the leadership of Governor Cuomo and the Regional Economic Development Councils.
Brooklyn Navy Yard loves New York.
Shapeways is a service that enables everyone to make whatever they want. And how can we make that possible? We do that using 3D printers.
Shapeways, Inc. recently signed a lease for industrial space in Long Island City, one of the council's 15 designated opportunity zones in the city, so called because recent rezoning has primed them for further development and growth. The project will result in the creation of 50 new jobs by the end of 2015. Shapeways was awarded $200,000 in Excelsior tax credits in the first round of CFA funding.
And the cool thing with 3D printing is that you can make things that are all unique without the setup cost, without the need for making master copies or whatever. So you can make pretty much at, slightly more than mass production can, you can make items that are unique. And because there is, we believe, and we see such a big need for that, I think it's a game changer, for sure. It will replace, to a certain degree, mass production. And that is huge.
Create at Harlem Green will revitalize and physically transform the former Tasty Bakery complex by creating a state-of-the-art commercial building. While making every attempt to preserve the original facades, the $100 million development will include 100,000 square feet of manufacturing space, 90,000 square feet of office space, 40,000 of retail, and 10,000 square feet devoted to the community.
The building behind us, the former Tasty Bakery, has been abandoned for about 40 years and was foreclosed and owned by the city. It will create a commercial hub of jobs, activity, retail, places for nonprofits to thrive. And what are now these dead, blank walls will be open to the street with all the activity of nonprofits, of jobs, of companies, stores, restaurants, everything that will enliven this neighborhood. The construction alone will create approximately 200 jobs, and we estimate that the companies and nonprofits that will house their organizations here will have approximately 500 jobs.
In June of 2012, the sale of the Tasty Bakery property to private developers was accomplished, and developers plan to break ground next summer. Since 1967, the Hunts Point Terminal Produce Market has supplied the vast majority of New York City's fresh fruit and vegetables. Over 115 food wholesaling and processing firms generate more than $3 billion in sales annually.
New York will always eat without us, but they'll never eat as well.
Major infrastructure issues such as insufficient storage capacity, internal traffic congestion, limited food quality protections, and deficient site infrastructure are diminishing the produce market's ability to supply affordable quality produce.
The rumor is that they're working on things to expand the market, and when they do, it'll be better for everybody.
A comprehensive effort by the City of New York and the Hunts Point Terminal Produce Market Cooperative to modernize the market's facility and address each of these issues is underway. The project will retain about 2,000 permanent full-time jobs and will create approximately 330 construction jobs. As of 2012, all federal, state, and city funding has been secured, totaling $172.5 million, including $50 million from the state. The public-private partnership will ensure the market remains where it is, keeping thousands of jobs in New York City and increasing access to key downstate markets for farmers all across the state.
Well, listen, let's keep it going. This way they can get the work done. A lot of jobs here, a lot of jobs. Make a lot of different constituents happy by making this market bigger.
The Howland Hook Marine Terminal of Staten Island is the largest container terminal in the state of New York, handling more than 500,000 container lifts per year.
Virtually all expendables all comes by water from someplace. We have a marine facility whereby approximately 550 New Yorkers come, earn their living. They're an economic engine for the city.
Lift numbers are projected to exceed the sustainable capacity of the facility by 2017. Additionally, the terminal doesn't have the capacity to handle the large vessels expected in the port following the 2014 expansion of the Panama Canal. The inability to meet this demand will stifle growth of the facility and reduce its economic competitiveness in the region.
We need this place to stay busy. More money for us, more money for the state of New York.
NYCT is working in partnership with the city and the Port Authority to develop a 38-acre berth adjacent to the existing terminal. The expansion will allow Howland Hook to become the first New York terminal to handle deep draft vessels and increase its capacity by 55% over current levels. A long-term lease agreement with the Port Authority designed to keep the New York Container Terminal operational through 2029 has been reached in principle, retaining 550 jobs. The agreement includes a promise by the Port Authority to make an estimated $35 million investment in capital equipment to enhance the competitiveness of the container terminal.
1, 2, 3, crane 6, go back to work, crane 7. Let's go.
Well, I think the video gives you a sense of the energy and purpose that the governor's initiative has fostered throughout New York City. Again, my many thanks to CUNY TV, Jay Hershenson, who manages that with a much bigger portfolio, needs our gratitude. Jay, where are you? Thank you. That energy and sense of purpose is nowhere more evident than here at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. The Yard epitomizes the governor's regional ground-up approach to economic development. It also reflects many of New York City Regional Council's priorities: creating and retaining industrial jobs, encouraging new technologies, fostering environmental sustainability, and supporting local development that impacts the entire city and state and well beyond. The Navy Yard also reflects the development in our regional advocacy efforts. Hurricane Sandy, most prominently. As it did across the city, the storm left its mark on the Yard's many businesses, ranging from temporary and inventory from flooding, as Dugal Visual Solutions, one of our 2012 priority projects. Like so many other businesses across the city, those at the Yard are recovering with the help of the city, state, and FEMA, and making plans for long-term storm readiness. Supporting storm-ravaged businesses across the 5 boroughs is a council priority, just as I know it is a state priority. We stand with you in your efforts to secure necessary relief for the city and the state. Lieutenant Governor, we deeply appreciate you being here to witness the tremendous progress being made here in Brooklyn and across the city. The governor's vision for a grassroots movement to generate economic development has been warmly embraced here and across the 5 boroughs. We remain deeply grateful for the $66 million awarded to the New York City region in the first round of regional council funding. The funding is critically important to a city with more people living in poverty than the rest of the state combined. In addition, our council is deeply indebted to Regional Council Director Joseph Taswell and the ESD staff for their steady guidance of this citywide effort. And indeed, it has been a citywide effort, and that in itself is an accomplishment worth noting. Having worked together for well over a year, the Council has taken advantage of one of this initiative's great opportunities, the presence of representatives from business, labor, government, industry, education, not-for-profits, and community representatives all at one table and grounded by the partnership between business and academia. That partnership is epitomized by the collaboration between Steiner Studios and CUNY's Brooklyn College on the college's new Graduate School of Cinema to be located here at Steiner. I'm delighted that Dean Maria Canelli of the Brooklyn College School of Visual Media and Performing Arts is with us today, along with a faculty member, Matthew Moore, and Margarita Gomez, a film student. All of us at CUNY look forward to the new ideas that will grow from this wonderful partnership. Lieutenant Governor, as you have seen at our meetings, we have sat together at every one of them, and public hearings, the Council's open discussions are in many ways without precedent. The result is more dialogue, more debate, a true sense of urgency to create good jobs and economic growth in communities in every borough. Just one of the Council's actions this past year was to create an executive committee to streamline time-sensitive decision-making and review details on potential priority projects. I am very pleased that my executive committee colleagues have been joined with me today. Their contributions to the Council have been invaluable. Kathy Wild, the President and CEO of the Partnership for New York City, chairs the Council's Writing Committee. Ken Knuckles, President and CEO of the Upper Manhattan Development Zone Development Corporation, chairs the Scoring Committee. Steve Hindy, the President of Brooklyn Brewery, chairs our Regulatory and Legislative Actions Committee, and Stuart Applebaum, President of the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union, serves as on the Scoring Committee and the Legislative Regulatory Actions Committee, and represented us so ably at the Regional Council Summit in August. Throughout the year, the New York City Regional Council has monitored the work of our 2011 priority projects, all of which continue to make steady progress. As you know, they include the development of the Brooklyn Navy Yard Green Manufacturing Center, which we will see today, the redevelopment of the Hunts Point Terminal Produce Market in the Bronx to improve its operations and maintain its essential role as the city's premier produce transfer and distribution facility, the redevelopment of the Tasty Bread Complex into Create at Harlem Green to encourage a broad range of manufacturing, commercial, retail, and community uses, the expansion of New York City Seed Start, a startup accelerator program to provide funding, space, and mentorship to promising companies in innovative industries, the expansion of the New York City Container Terminal at Hole and Hook on Staten Island to build its capacity and increase its competitiveness. The support of the city's Applied Sciences NYC initiative to expand the city's capacity in science and engineering research and applications. And lastly, the acceleration of the Staten Island Green Zone initiative to encourage greater economic activity in the borough's West Shore. These projects represent some of the Council's criteria, which include prioritizing projects that have a multi-regional impact, create jobs, offer relief from conditions of economic distress, and contribute to the city's competitiveness in an innovation economy. Through our scoring committee led by Ken Knuckles, the Council has carefully reviewed projects submitted for funding throughout the consolidated funding application process. In 2011, the Council scored 235 applications, and in 2012, the Council scored 256 applications. The Council has also closely watched the progress of development in 15 neighborhoods designated as opportunity zones. These are neighborhoods in every borough that have been undergoing rezoning, planning, and redevelopment work and are poised for economic growth. There is significant activity in each and every one of these zones, from Long Island City to the South Bronx, Southwest Brooklyn, to 125th Street in Manhattan. Affordable housing being constructed, vacant facilities are being redeveloped, and new businesses are being built. Finally, the Council has identified priority projects to recommend for 2012, 5 projects for capital funding and 6 projects for tax credits. Our 2012 projects represent not only the city's geographic diversity, but also its economic diversity, from high-tech design in Brooklyn to bagel making in the Bronx, a rooftop greenhouse in Queens, energy storage manufacturing in Harlem, and brownfield cleanup in every borough. One final point. The New York City Regional Economic Development Council is very much a public body. Outreach and public forums are integral to all of our work. We continue to hear from community members representing support for projects and suggesting issues that deserve greater attention. Those voices range from seasoned CEOs to young entrepreneurs eager for their neighborhood to be the next hotspot. Our council members are increasingly recognized as a new point of access for project sponsors and advocates, and all are deeply committed to ensuring that New York is indeed open for business. Thank you. So let me now bring on to the podium Andrew Kimball, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation, to talk about the work here at the Navy Yard, and we look forward to his remarks. Andrew.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Chancellor Goldstein, Lieutenant Governor Duffy, members of the Council, Senator Golden, distinguished representatives of elected officials from every level of government that have supported us so strongly here in the rebirth of the Brooklyn Navy Yard, as well as the Brooklyn business community. What an incredible video that was. That does make you feel very optimistic about the future of high-tech manufacturing and industrial activity across the 5 boroughs, and we're really an example of how that's exploding here at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. You know, we were hit hard by the storm. There were about 20 businesses that were in some ways wiped out. What's amazing is their entrepreneurial spirit. Within 2 days, we had power back to them. They had almost all their workers in there, scrubbing walls, tearing out drywall, replacing inventory, spending millions of dollars on new equipment, and all of them are back up and running in one way or another. And I really want to thank all of the elected officials and governmental leaders, city, state, and federal. Particularly want to thank Kenneth Adams. His team at ESDC has just been extraordinary in helping us. Thanks to the support of the city, the state, and the regional council, the Navy Yard is now a national model for the creation of good-paying urban manufacturing jobs. We recently hosted representatives from 20 different cities, about 50 people across the country, looking at how the Brooklyn Navy Yard can be replicated in their cities. And we're certainly the greenest, most sustainable industrial campus anywhere. Companies at the Yard have been at the forefront of new manufacturing, capitalizing on the evolution of technology that reduces the scale of equipment, such as 3D molding machines, printers, CNC machines, making them more accessible to small business and entrepreneurial makers of all sorts. And you see that exploding across New York City. Shapeways is just a fantastic example. And these high-tech companies are side by side with high-employment traditional manufacturers like GMD Shipyard that Senator Golden has helped us with so much, and Cumberland Packing that manufactures all the Sweet and Low that we put in our coffee every morning. We have identified sectors that make sense for the long-term future of New York City, many of which are not described as manufacturing today. It's in entertainment and media, arts and culture, green home building and home goods, food, a wide array of artisanal products. There are numerous university and local college collaborations that are helping our businesses drive technology and innovation while providing a highly skilled local workforce. Strategic investments by the city and the state have leveraged hundreds of millions of dollars in private investment in new and renovated buildings and equipment. In the last 10 years, 3 million square feet of space has either been added or is in development in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, essentially doubling our capacity. We have a waiting list of 150 businesses who are dying to get in here. We just need the space. We've also nearly doubled the number of jobs at the Navy Yard, with 6,400 workers coming into our gates every day. In the next 5 years, that number should double again. And these are good-paying local jobs that stabilize communities. Of the last 200 people we've placed through our employment center, 25% are residents of the local NYCHA houses, folks in severe need of employment opportunities. 15% formerly incarcerated, 10% are veterans. The average level of wage for an entry-level job here is now $12 an hour. That is a very good entry-level wage. We've also supported the community with aggressive minority, women, and local contracting goals. Over 40% of the dollar value of the last 2 major projects went to MWLBEs. We're very grateful that the Regional Council has shown a bright light on the Navy Yard as a transformational project, illuminating our success and positioning us to grow even faster. As you saw in the video, without the support of the Council, we would not be in full-blown construction on the Green Manufacturing Center, and I hope some of you are going to join me on a tour after this, and well on the way to creating over 300 high-quality jobs in that unique facility. I'm thrilled that the Council will now have the opportunity to hear from 3 of the real heroes at the Navy Yard, the business owners, who are creating jobs here every day. And first, I'd like to invite David Belt, the visionary developer who's developing New Lab, to address you over here in front of some of the renderings of his project.
Thanks. Is this a prop or should it work?
It's working.
Oh, okay, good. Hi, my name is David Belt, and I'm a developer. My company's called Macro C, and I'm here to introduce my project, the New Lab at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Macro C is honored to be part of the Navy Yard's incredible Green Manufacturing Center, which will preserve the history of the Yard as an economic and industrial hub and help make Brooklyn a leading center for new manufacturing. Our idea for the New Lab is to take precedents set by other collaborative and creative workspaces, combine those ideas with the latest in 3D printing and additive technology, and house our center in this historic cathedral to manufacturing. There was Bell Lab and there was MIT Media Lab, and we hope to create a non-denominational version of MIT Media Lab right here in the Yard. Our mission for the lab, the New Lab, includes 5 basic points. First, to inspire paradigms in high-tech green manufacturing, to promote interaction between institutions, technical disciplines, designers, and local communities, to provide open access to state-of-the-art facilities for innovators, inventors, and other creative individuals to create meaningful products and technology, to support growth of new industries and foster job creation in the USA, and to create a public space which broadcasts the accomplishments of the New Lab community to a local, national, and international audience. I think I'm standing in front of some of the renderings, but as you can see, we're building it in one of the wings of the green manufacturing building that you saw in the video. And part of our program is to have a very large TED Talks type space that'll project out some of the great work that's happening in our center and the rest of the yard to the rest of the world, and invite the public in to see what's happening. New Lab will be a cutting-edge center that fosters creativity, design, and entrepreneurship through collaboration and access to the latest technology. The center will provide rapid prototyping equipment and 3D printers, co-working space, and an incredible mix of tenants exploring the newest challenges in manufacturing and design. In addition, the new lab will bring at least 200 new jobs to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Among our current tenant mix will be an amazing list of universities whose students and researchers will be able to transform their ideas into tangible prototypes in a real-world setting. Macro C is thrilled to have CASE, part of NYU Polytechnic, and Columbia University's Graduate School of Architecture, their prototyping lab, to join us at the center. In order to achieve this vision of a kind of non-denominational MIT Media Lab, Macro C is also partnering with a stellar list of software designers, technology experts, and equipment manufacturers. For example, Sia Mondavi and his company Within Lab are coming over from London and hiring 30 engineers to design the latest in additive layer software. Sia is working with our team to create a showroom for companies like EOS, the world's leading manufacturer of laser sintering machinery, and a number of other groups who are going to have actual prototyping and manufacturing equipment coming from around the world to be as a show space in the yard. New Lab will always have the latest equipment and technology to allow innovators to develop designs with a new freedom. Macro C is thrilled to be creating a space that will inspire new paradigms in green manufacturing and to be part of this game-changing project. We appreciate the support of the Borough President's Office and the leadership and support of Christine Quinn and the New York City Council for their support. We also especially appreciate the great partnership of Andrew Kimball and the Brooklyn Navy Yard staff. Thank you to Governor Cuomo, Lieutenant Governor Duffy, Chancellor Goldstein, and the Regional Council for having the incredible vision to join the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation in supporting New Lab and helping bring innovation to this part of New York City. Thank you very much.
Thanks, David. I'd now like to introduce Caleb Cry, the founder of Cry Precision, and really, truly one of the most extraordinary success stories anywhere. Caleb.
Thank you, Andrew. Check, check. I'm Caleb Cry, president and founder of Cry Precision. We design and manufacture protective equipment for our military and law enforcement groups here in the Navy Yard. We do all of our manufacturing in the United States. Most of it's done right here in Brooklyn. We have a facility in New Jersey. We also do some manufacturing out of. We came to the Navy Yard in early 2002, mainly because we needed space to grow. And that's exactly what it's allowed us to do. It's allowed us to grow. When we first moved in, we started with 4,000 square feet, and now we currently occupy 45,000 square feet, and we're about to move into an 80,000 square foot facility in the Green Manufacturing Center in Building 128. When we came to the Navy Yard, we had a staff of 6. We now employ over 150 people designing and manufacturing high-quality equipment for our military right here in Brooklyn. And we plan to expand beyond 200 when we move into the new facility. Being based in the Navy Yard has helped us in many ways. It's allowed us room to expand and stay in the same general area. As we've needed space, we've been able to find more space within the Navy Yard instead of having to move out to different areas. It's helped us find great staff members, and it's provided sort of an intangible that gives us a community of like-minded creative companies that we get to collaborate with. We're very excited to be moving into the historic 128 facility, and it's a history that's not lost on us. In its next life, just like its first, will be dedicated to building great equipment for the military. It used to be where Navy ships were made, and now will be where Navy body armor and uniforms are made. From right here in Brooklyn, right here in the Navy Yard, we've reached a very wide audience. Our armor is currently issued to every U.S. soldier. Our camouflage pattern, Multicam, is the official pattern adopted by the U.S. Army for all operations in Afghanistan. Every U.S. Marine is issued one of our uniform designs, and thousands of special operations personnel use our gear every day in their efforts to keep this very city and the rest of our nation safe from those who would do us harm. We also help outfit our federal and state agencies and some of our closest allies, such as the UK and Australia. We're very glad to see that the Navy Yard, the city, and the state have come together to bring this facility literally back from ruin and help make it a premier location, again, for American manufacturing and innovation. We plan to spend many years here making good equipment for the good guys. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Andrew and his team for literally transforming the Navy Yard. We've been here for about 10 years, and it's a night and day difference what's been happening the last few years. So thank you for everyone who's helped make that happen.
I'd now like to introduce Baldev Dugal. Baldev's story is a uniquely American story, and he and his son Michael, who's also here, have developed a truly fantastic set of sustainable products. Baldev.
When I landed on these shores about 50 years ago, my dad gave me $200 and a one-way ticket and a pocket full of dreams. This city gave me the opportunity to realize and surpass those dreams. Today, we print for world-famous brands, have 9 locations in New York alone, and employ 280 New Yorkers, many right here in the Navy Yard. The city and the Navy Yard's commitment to our business has been critical to our success. After Hurricane Sandy, much of the Navy Yard was under 5 feet of water, and we took over $10 million in equipment and inventory damage. The Navy Yard team has been fantastic. They had power back almost immediately and pitched in to clean up the damage and get our buildings operational. Our clients love us, but they would also have been forced to leave us if we could not serve them in their busiest time of the year. Dugal employees rolled up their sleeves and worked around the clock. Skilled technicians were mopping floors, equipment was replaced, salvaged, or fixed. All the hard work paid off. Not one of our 280 staff was let go, and we were soon printing again. Hurricane Sandy has shown us once again how vulnerable our communities are. When critical infrastructure fails, public safety challenges are compounded. And we have a solution made right here in New York by New Yorkers. For the past 3 years, the Navy Yard has been lit solely by Lumisoleil off-grid street lights. These state-of-the-art lights have a built-in battery system, are manufactured in Long Island and Buffalo, assembled right here in Navy Yard. Lumisoleil lights have survived 2 hurricanes, can operate 8 days in cloudy weather, and have already served the Navy Yard $600,000. They will also soon light the Buffalo Medical Campus. If we rebuild without rethinking, we will end up in the same situation in the not too distant future. I built my business in New York, and nothing would make me more proud than to see reliable off-grid lighting deployed for the benefit of Sandy's victim in our regions. We are New Yorkers. This is what we do. Thank you.
You know, I was deeply touched listening to David Belt, also to Khalib Krai and Baldev Dugal. These are three extraordinary visionaries and great business people. And Andrew Kimball, I think not only New York, but this country owes you a debt of great gratitude. You're an incredible man, and delighted that you're in the job that you're in. You know, we are so fortunate in this state to have a governor who is so energetic, so smart, so savvy in getting things done. He couldn't be here today because he's fighting for monies for New York State after the devastating effects of Hurricane Sandy. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to work with him because he's done so much for the two public universities here in New York State. And he's going to go down in history as one of the great, great governors that we've been privileged to work with. So I think we all are, we can rest much more easy knowing that he's at the helm. But I want to talk briefly about Lieutenant Robert Duffy, who I've gotten to know well over this past year. I use the word indefatigable sometimes about people who have so much energy, but you're summa cum laude when it comes to indefatigable. This is a guy that has been all over this state numerous times. And if he did it by plane, I can imagine what his frequent flyer miles would amount to. But he's done it by vehicle. He's been my partner as we have traversed all of the challenges that the New York City Regional Council has accomplished. He's been a great counsel, a great friend, and a great New Yorker. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished Lieutenant Governor.
Good morning, thank you. First, I want to start with Chancellor Goldstein. I want to repay the compliment. If he were paid for this position, he'd be paid double, because he's done the work of two or three over the last almost 2 years. He's been a phenomenal leader of this regional council. And as I'll say about others and all the council members, this is a collection of very busy, successful, driven people that have awesome responsibilities, who have dedicated so much of their time and their lives to make this happen. On behalf of the governor, I just want to say thank you, and I go through some individual acknowledgments. First, the governor could not be here, as the chancellor said. He is fighting for New York. He is involved in trying to get as much aid from the devastation of Superstorm Sandy that he possibly can back here to New York City and our region. And he's doing really the work that will have a great impact in this community, in this city. So I'm here on his behalf. It's like the backup band of Springsteen, but I'm honored to be here, and I'm very happy to be part of this. And if I could just make some acknowledgments. Again, I mentioned Chancellor Goldstein, great leadership. We've used his facilities so many times throughout this process at CUNY. I appreciate what he has done. Doug Steiner, president of Steiner Studios. I've had the pleasure of going through and touring the studios. It has really reinforced just the incredible job opportunities and really the vitality that these studios bring. And Doug is a great leader. He is obviously very passionate about New York City and this region. And when you walk through and see what he has done here, is absolutely extraordinary. So I want to thank Doug for all his help and his leadership. Andrew Kimball, who we just heard from. I want to caution you, I work for a governor who tends to recruit talent, and you may think you're in a career right now that you're pretty content with, but look out, you might get tapped or get the call. Andrew has done a phenomenal job. Being here to Brooklyn Navy Yard, I think it's my third or fourth time here, seeing what's been said, it's been reinforced, but I'll say it again, seeing the work that has been done. This did not happen overnight. This came from leadership, from very hard work, investment across many different governments and areas, trying to have a vision to rebuild and really bring a team together to do that. And when you go around a Navy Yard and see what has happened, just the vitality that is really being driven here, it's phenomenal. And Andrew, I just want to congratulate you for all your great work and thank you. Also, I mentioned Andrew, I think Alan Fishman needs to be recognized as well as the chair of the board here. They are a great team. I've had the pleasure of, again, speaking with them both in previous visits, just to me, I say it about the governor all the time, and I'll say it about the people I'm mentioning now. Leadership matters, and it's nothing more obvious than walking around this facility and seeing what it does. Senator Marty Golden. This is his home borough, and Marty is on our regional council, but I want to thank Senator Golden, not only for being an awesome member of this council, for his work. He is very driven and passionate about Brooklyn and New York City. He's also a great guy, and he gets it. And he had the pleasure of working with the senator in the Senate, and just it's a pleasure to have him here and appreciate him taking time out all the time as he does to be here. They're not here, but I want to thank two elected officials. First, Mayor Mike Bloomberg. He sends Deputy Mayor Bob Steele, who's been a great member of our team here at the Regional Council, but great support for the mayor and his team. I want to thank him. And also Assembly Speaker Shelley Silver, who could not be here today. Another great leader, a friend, somebody who we work very closely with in Albany, but also, like Marty, takes time out to be here and be part of this team, which we have a great appreciation for. If I can go through first a couple of our thank yous. We had the assessment team mentioned before. Cesar Perales is here, Rowan DeStito, Daryl Albertine is here, and Tom Maddox, who was our tax commissioner. Former Mayor Matt Driscoll is not here. He works for the Environmental Facilities Corporation. He could not be here today. This team has done a phenomenal job, and they have traveled around the state. I think, they have been so impressed and learned so much from the people they meet. But they're the ones that you need to lobby today, because they're going to be making the judgments on the projects today during the presentations. Again, 4 outstanding public servants who have been on the road a lot. I want to thank them for their work, and you'll see them a little later today. Kenneth Adams. It's the first day I've seen Ken not carrying 2 suitcases in about 2 weeks. He's in his home of Brooklyn, but I want to thank Ken for his leadership at Empire State Development and also being a big part of this process. Again, very passionate about business and growing jobs, and has been a great partner for us. Megan Daly is here. I'm not sure. Megan's probably in the back somewhere. Doesn't get much notice, but Megan, raise your hand. She took over for Irene Baker, who was a robot who would never stop, and Megan has come in and done a great job. I want to thank her and her team, a great team back there, for all the work they've done on these councils. Also, Joe Taswell is here as well. Joe's done a phenomenal job with Empire State Development with our team as well. And just our members of the executive committee, which I think the chancellor has mentioned. I know Stu Applebaum is here, Steve Hindy, Ken Knuckles, I think Kathy Wild may be here in the back. I thank them. And I'll just close on my thank yous. This would not be possible without the hard work and dedication of a lot of people who give their time and energy and talents to make this successful. And today is the last day. Today's the last day of the 10 regional councils. We've gone to this is the last one. And given the devastation that New York has faced, I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to say, as a lifelong upstater who's been in this job for 2 years, I'm so proud of New York City, because it seems like devastation hits this city. It hit at 9/11. It hit with this terrible storm, and this city just pulls itself up by the bootstraps, fights back, comes together, and gets stronger and better every time. And I mentioned before with the impact on the Brooklyn Navy Yard with the storm, it's just one more example of why this city is so great. It is the economic hub of our state and our country, and I look at what it's gone through, and here it is. It's coming back so incredibly quick. To me, it's just one of the most inspirational stories you ever could imagine. And to be in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, one last piece of history. Today's December 7th, and while our children grow up, remembering 9/11 is something recent. I grew up hearing about December 7th, which is a day of infamy, when Pearl Harbor was attacked during World War II. And imagine this place back during World War II when that happened. My father was a World War II Navy veteran, and I could not imagine what went on right here in these grounds and that time in history. And I think those people that worked back then, those men and women, would be proud of what's going on today in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, seeing how it has been reinvented time and time again. And today it's creating jobs. It's creating jobs. It's creating vitality. And I think all those that are involved with that should be proud. You know, the governor's not here, and it gives me a chance to say some things about him that he would not say about himself. This has been one of the most incredible experiences of my career, and I think anyone involved with this. This whole regional council concept was not put together through democracy or through a group. The governor deserves total credit for that. He was the secretary of HUD when he envisioned this happening. During our campaign, he talked about that. We talked about regional economies. He talked about bringing people together and looking at economic development very differently than how we looked at it in the past. So he deserves all the credit, and seeing what he has done is like planting a seed in a garden and seeing it grow with the incredible support and work of people I mentioned and people around the state, their counterparts, and seeing where it has gone today. Because if you look at all the regions, like here, you have regions upstate, maybe 6, 7 counties that come together. Here you have the 5 boroughs in New York City. People have come together in this process that maybe know each other, maybe did not, but they've come across so many of these different governmental lines to work as a team, to come together, to identify priorities for economic development, to seek support and funding, to try and grow jobs and really create growth, to keep our young people here and not leaving this state or this city and going elsewhere for job opportunities. And I'm seeing it all around the state. Chancellor had mentioned New York City was awarded last year, I think it was $66 to $67 million from the state for this process through about 50 projects. What that has generated is over $700 million in private investment. It's over a 10-to-1 ratio. It's tremendous. And out of that, when these projects are complete, and I believe about 93 or 94% are already underway with some contracts executed, it means 7,000 more jobs created. And really, hats off and kudos and congratulations to our 3 CEOs who just talked. 3 great companies. This is what's happening around the state. This is what's happening right here. Young, bright people coming together. You have this talent coming together with concepts, ideas, get support from the Navy Yard, from the city, the state, the borough, other private investment, and grow jobs and grow this economy. And that's what's happening. And when the governor came into office, one of the things he talked about, and he says it repeatedly, we don't have a New York State economy. We don't have one economic pipeline for the entire state. It's really based on a region. It's very, very different. It really runs the whole spectrum. There are places in our state, far less populated, depend on tourism, agriculture, other areas that really drive the economy and drive jobs. But around the state right now, you have people that have come together, that have prioritized projects, that have pulled together as a team and created a change, really a sea of transformation in this state that I don't think we've ever seen before. We will talk about this process 3, 4, 5 years, maybe 20 years down the road, but it started, and those that worked on this, it really made it happen here. Really, we can't thank you enough. This is what New York State needs, and we've always had the reputation of being the tax capital of the world. We've always been hit with reputation of over-regulation. We have challenges, and we are far from perfect, and I think what this process does do is show us a path, what we have to do to create more jobs and create more companies like we heard this morning, create more opportunities. And we learn. We didn't get here overnight. We won't get out of it overnight. But the governor, his extraordinary leadership, he gets it. He's incredibly bright. He's gifted. He understands. He's a hands-on person. He's a great leader. And I'm amazed at what he has done in 2 years, in 2 years' time. And what he has done is really not force something on New York City Regional Council. He just, as he does, brings talented people together and let them go. And that's what he wanted. He did not want a concept that came from top down from Albany. He wanted it ground up from communities around his state, and that's what we're getting. So it is a source of pride for all of us. It really is. I'm a father of 2 daughters. One fled to Illinois and trying to get her back. She's in Chicago. One is still here. If we do our jobs correctly, our kids, our grandkids will stay here. New York State is the greatest state in the union. This city is the greatest, to me, the greatest state, a greatest city, not only in our state, but in the country. It is this is a place that has so much going for us. We have everything here. We have absolutely everything. It is a matter of just trying to make sure we take away those barriers, overcome some of those challenges, and then just take off and really let the talent flow. And that's what this process is doing. When I walked through, I think at least 2 of the 3 companies that came up today in a previous visit, I was blown away by what I saw. And this is what we see around the state. We see this talent, we see this opportunity, this optimism. And this, to me, it just is the very beginning of what we have to do. The last thing I will say is this. New York City is the epicenter upon itself, but one of the things where we'll be successful is, like we have relationships across all 5 boroughs, across government entities, where this will be super successful down the road is when upstate and downstate get merged. North Country, Southern Tier, Western New York, down in New York City, Long Island. When we start merging those talents, because there's no doubt there are companies right here in the Navy Yard that will look for supply chain networks that may be in Messina, Buffalo, Binghamton, Rochester, Watertown, Syracuse. There is talent around this state, and sometimes we're not sure what is outside our region. And part of the responsibilities that we need to take with this process is to try and bring those relationships together, because I think that'll be the key for growth in the future, is trying to merge the many talents across this state, and we'll be formidable when that happens. So I just, on behalf of the governor, I thank you. It is so impressive. I thank you for your work and for all of the efforts. The announcements will be made. I know the date, but the date sometimes changes, but we hope it's going to be before the holidays, and it's going to be coming up probably in about, we hope, maybe 11 days or so, when the winners will be announced, and that's could be subject to change, but there are no losers in this process. Whoever wins what prizes, everybody in this process across all 10 regions, they are winners, and we're very, very proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This concludes our public aspect of this program. I'd like to thank a couple of unsung heroes who worked tirelessly on behalf of the New York City Regional Council that none of you probably know. But we have Suri Deitch, who has been instrumental. We have Barbara Cura, and we have Teresa Desmond, three absolutely extraordinary people. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for those remarks. And let's continue on this journey all together. Thank you very much.